Oh, thank you, Lee. He's easy. Isn't he great? That's such a great opening. Well, we love you too. We got a lot of people here. We got a lot of great people here. Thank you very much, and thank you for allowing me to win this state by so much. It was, I wouldn't say the competition was the toughest, but it was competition nevertheless. And we appreciate it very much. And we're going to be talking about no tax on tips. We're also talking about the fact that everybody is looking at their tax return. They're getting tremendous amounts of money back, much more than they thought. But it's great to be back in a place I love, Las Vegas. Did a lot of business here. We had great success here. Before politics, it was fantastic. And this is the birthplace of a little idea known as no tax on tips. This is the birthplace. A young waitress came up to me during dinner and she said, "Sir, we should have no tax on tips." I said, "What?" Say it again. "We should have no tax on tips." I said, "That's the greatest thing I've ever heard." I walked outside to the fake news media. I say, "Ladies and gentlemen, there will be no tax on tips." That was it. It was not an expensive consultant. Las Vegas is the home of the largest concentration of tipped workers anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, actually. And thanks to our tax cuts this week, thousands of Nevada waiters, waitresses, casino dealers, bartenders, bellmen, barbers, caddies. So I love those caddies. They're very good if you have the right caddy. And valets receive the biggest tax refunds of their entire lives, and you see it. And I just want to say you're welcome. You're welcome. No, it's all over. There's so many, even in the fake news, where they have these different. You always want to watch the enemy a little bit. You don't want to watch too much. You want to find out where they're coming from, and they come from dark places. But even there, people are saying, "Wow, this is really amazing." It's a great, big, beautiful bill. It came in, and we should call it the great, big, beautiful tax cut bill, because that's really what it is. Other things also, but regulations. But it's really, the tax cuts are enormous. So it's just such an honor. I want to thank Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent for joining us. Scott, he's become a big star. He walks down the street and the people are screaming, "Scott, Scott, can we have your autograph?" I mean, what I did, I created a monster. He's a monster now. That's terrible, but he's doing a great job. Along with Senator, oh, look at Tommy. Where's Tommy Tuberville? Where's Tommy Tuberville? Tommy, the great Tommy Tuberville, Senator from Alabama. Thank you, Tommy. Nevada Lieutenant Governor Stavros Anthony. Thank you, Stavros. Clark County Commissioner April Becker. April. Thank you, April. Thank you very much. State Senator Carrie Buck. Thank you. Thank you, Carrie. Assemblywoman Lisa Cole. Lisa, thank you. We have a lot of power here today, huh? This is big stuff. And many others. We have a lot of people out there. I better not name them all because, we're in all these. Look at all the television back there. Isn't that terrible? So much. Last summer, thanks to our Republican majorities in the House and Senate, I signed the great, big, beautiful bill, the largest tax cuts and many other things for working families in the history of our country. It was actually, we added about 19 different bills. We were going to do one at a time or maybe two or three, but I said, let's just do them all at one time. And thank goodness we did, because the Republicans are out there fighting hard for a lot of good things, like no men and women's sports, like no open borders. We have the safest border we've ever had. We have the safest communities. We have the best records. One thing that's always tough to say because it sounds sort of weird, but we have the least number of murders that we've had in 125 years, all the way back to 1900. Doesn't sound nice, There's no nice way of saying that, but it's back to 1900. But every single American at every income level has more money in their pockets this week because of the Republican tax policies. And we got to win the midterms. If we don't, these policies are going to be taken away from you. The taxes are going to go through the roof. Look at these. Look at the states, these blue states, what is going on there with taxes. Look at what happened in Virginia. A person, we had a good governor there, and somebody got elected that she's gone crazy. She's gone totally crazy. Look at New York. I mean, he's a nice guy, calls me all the time, says hi. But his policies are no good. He's chasing people out and causing a lot of harm to everybody. I mean, everybody's taxes are going through the roof. After 4 long years of brutal inflation under Biden and congressional Democrats, you deserve every single penny that you're getting now because you had to suffer. You suffered. We had the highest inflation in the history of our country under Biden. Sleepy Joe. He is the worst president we've ever had by far. Average refund. The average refunds this season's over $4,000. And here in Las Vegas, many workers have reported refunds of $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 or more, and they've never had anything. It's all from no tax on tips alone. So, and then don't forget, you have no tax on Social Security for our seniors. A lot of seniors out there. And you have no tax on overtime. You know, this state covers them all. You have the seniors, you have the overtime, but you have no tax on overtime. You have no tax on tips, and you have no tax, think of it, Social Security. So those 3 things. And, you know, one other thing that we have that nobody talks about, but we've done a lot in the bill. If you have a small business or if you have a farm, you have no inheritance tax. You have no death tax. It's a big thing. You know, people go out and they would borrow money, especially the farmers. I mean, they go out and they leave their farm, and the farmer is valuable, but not a lot of cash. They live good. They wouldn't trade anytime. And they go out and they get a bill for taxes for the farm. The parents leave the farm to the children. The children go to the bank. They borrow a lot of money. They mortgage up the farm, and they end up losing the farm. They go bankrupt. They commit suicide in many. It's a horrible thing that went on. You have no death taxes now. You have no inheritance taxes. And seeing his take-home pay skyrocket, a bellman at the nearby Paris hotel reportedly said words that no one has ever uttered before. God bless the IRS. Can you believe it? I've never heard that before. We have to patent that. We have to do something. Earlier this week at the White House, I met a wonderful woman named Sharon Simmons, a grandmother driving DoorDash to help support her husband's cancer treatment. She's got serious cancer. He's going to be okay, I think. Sharon delivered McDonald's to the Oval Office. It was a little bit of a, to be honest, it was a little tacky. They come up with these crazy ideas like McDonald's, although that was the biggest ever on Google, they say, #1 ever, and the garbage truck. I mean, we do these things in politics. They're a little embarrassing. They're a little tiny embarrassing, but we do them, and you win by landslides. It's one of the. So we got to keep doing them. No, we got to knock on the Oval Office door. This did not happen. That's the first maybe in the history of the Oval Office, and it was a very beautiful woman standing there with 2 big bags of McDonald's hamburgers. And I say, is this really believable? But the point of it was she made $11,000 that she had no idea was coming. And it was really great. It turned out to be really great. So as part of our tax cuts, we also included no tax on overtime. And, one of the things, though, that I think is so great, we have something that's never happened before. It was an idea that I thought of. I went to Scott. I went to some of our people. So when rich people do something, they always look for deductions, right? It's always deductions. They have deductions and everything. And middle class and middle income people, poorer people, they don't get they don't think in terms of deductions. So I said, you buy a car that's American made, give a deduction on the interest you pay on the loan that you used to buy the car. And everyone said, oh, that's good. It sounds simple, but it's never been done before. And you have that too. So when you go out and you take a loan on your car, you deduct the interest. It's a big deal for people. Never happened before. You would think it was sort of basic. I thought it was so brilliant when I thought it. But the truth is, it never happened before. And nobody mentions it, but it's a very big factor. And it's having a huge impact on our car companies, which are expanding like never before. We're selling more cars now. A lot of it has to do with tariffs. You pay no tariffs if you come here if you don't come here, you pay a lot of tariffs, and we're raising those tariffs very soon. And not on you, it's on people from the outside that don't build their plants here. We have now hundreds of billions. We have actually $18 trillion being invested in the United States because of a lot of reasons, but because of tariffs. Because of tariffs. If they sell their product into our country, they have to pay tariffs. If they make that same product here, they don't. So they're coming in. I'll tell you, pharmaceutical companies are coming in at levels that nobody's ever seen. We're having our drugs made here, our prescription drugs are being made here, which is something that's very important. So our tax cut for overtime workers have already been claimed by more than 26 million Americans, and Americans finally had the president, the kind of president who believes in them. I believe in rewarding you for the great work you've done, the great job you've done, and for having to suffer for 4 years of embarrassment. Our country was an embarrassment. Our country, a year ago, our country was an embarrassment. And all over the world, they laughed at us. And they don't laugh anymore. They are not laughing. They're not laughing anymore. I don't think anybody, just ask those. I don't want to be a wise guy. I don't want to speak too soon. But we do very well. You notice that we're doing very well. And I will say the war in Iran is going along swimmingly. We can do whatever we want. And it should be ending pretty soon. It was perfect. I mean, it's perfect. It was the power we have, our military. We have the most powerful military anywhere in the world. I built it 4 years, my first 4 years. And we're still building it. We're building it. We have the best military. We have the best equipment in the world, the best rockets and anti-rockets. You know, if you look at the way we shoot, you know, we had 111 rockets shot at one of our ships. I won't name the ship, but it was a beauty. And out of the 111 rockets shot, all 111 rockets, and these things move at about 3,000 miles an hour. You know, it's not like, oh, gee, we have plenty of time to think about it. Every single one of them, 111, were all shot down. Think of that. Shot down. They're laying at the bottom of the sea. So needless to say, it was a ship that they were shooting at. But we've had it. We had 101. We had 101, and then 2 days later, we had 111. Every one of them was hit. That's the equipment that we have is incredible. There's never been anything like it. So in addition to no tax on Social Security, over 51 million seniors now pay. Seniors are loving me, and I love them. Of course, I'm not a senior, so I cater to the seniors, but I don't happen to be a senior myself. Thank you very much. Over 51 million seniors now pay zero federal tax on Social Security income. 51 million. And they never saw that happening. And when I went to him and I said, how much would it cost for about 50 to 60 million seniors not to pay tax? He said, sir, are you kidding? This was Scott. I said, let's do it. Go ahead. And you know what's happened? The economy is doing so well. By the way, we had to do a little journey down to Iran. And I didn't want to do that, but we had to because we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. Can't let them have a nuclear weapon. And, you know, we just hit 50,000 on the Dow. I don't know if you people know what that means. 50,000 on the Dow is unthinkable. They said at the end of his fourth year, maybe, but more likely fifth or sixth year. My fifth or sixth year, that sounds good too. But remember, you know, the hat says 4 more years? It drives the Democrats crazy. It drives them 4 more years, 4 more years. I have to laugh at that one. They go crazy. What a bunch of lunatics they are. You know, we want to get along and we're bipartisan, but after a while you say these people, they're just, you know, they don't want to pay our ICE agents. They don't want to pay our security people. They don't want to take care of our border. They want to have open borders for everybody. They want to have men playing in women's sports. Think of it, men playing in women's sports. That's got to be a 95-5. Maybe it's a 99-1 issue. And I saw a guy today on television, a Democrat that I know. He's trying to justify men playing in women's sports. He's trying to justify open borders. No, we don't. We can't let them back in. They'll destroy. They'll destroy the country. They'll destroy our country. But millions of retirees like those here in Nevada, and it's a very important word, Nevada. Don't ever say the other way. I'm not going to say it because they'll say it. I won't say it the other way because they'll put it. He said, you lose the whole state. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds pretty good the other way, to be honest with you. Some people, but Nevada is beautiful. And seeing an average deduction over $7,500 this year, which is incredible. The great big beautiful bill is filled with tax cuts Americans are only just beginning to discover. So the tax cuts turned out to be larger than anybody thought, even us. I mean, we didn't think it was going to be as much, but people are getting much more. It's come from that. And the Democrats don't know what to do because they used to ridicule it, the great big beautiful bill. And now they're saying, don't mention the words. Just don't talk about it because it's been great. But we got to keep it. We have to win the midterms. We virtually eliminated the so-called, so many taxes. We have like 19 different taxes in all different forms that we eliminated. And we dramatically expanded a thing called school choice, which is a big deal, We made homeschool expenditures, the homeschoolers. Do we have any homeschoolers here? Right? Very good. Congratulations. Homeschool expenditures tax deductible. We created the brand new Trump accounts with Michael and Susan Dell. The Dell family. They're great. What a great family. But he put up $6.25 billion. Namely, he did a good job in life. He's putting up more. He came to me with the idea with some of his friends. His wife is fantastic, by the way. And he said, these accounts where children will grow up, and by the time they're 18 or 20 or 21, they could have $100,000. I mean, they may be poor. They'll have $100,000. What a big difference. So I just want to thank the Dell family. It's great. Buy their computer. I said, how did you get so rich by doing computers? He said, well, in college, I was good at computers. I'd just sit on my bed, I'd make computers, and people would buy them, and he never stopped. Sort of an amazing story if you want to know the truth. But we have a $1,000 contribution for every newborn child. Think of that. 5 million have already been opened. It's been incredible. People are going out there doing it. Some are buying it from many other children. Some are taking some richer people are taking lots of people under their wing. We have one man that took the state of Ohio, and he's obviously pretty rich, and he's made the contribution on behalf of so many children. It's really turned out to be amazing, actually. And we made interest on new car loans deductible, which I told you it's a big deal. I think it's really something, but only if it's made here, and that's only if it's made in America, and we're proud to see it being made in America. We used to have, when I was growing up, it would say everything made in America. It meant it was better. And then over the years, it disappeared. We brought it back, and we make great products now. Today, when you see made in America, it's, generally speaking, I think it's a better product. This tax season, over 1 million Americans already deducted their auto loans and their auto interest. Think of that. And they're saving a write-off. They're having a write-off of over $2,000, sometimes much more. And you get a full write-off. It's pretty amazing. Together, these brand new cuts and deductions in the Republican bill have been claimed by nearly half of all tax filers. So in one form or another, more than 50% have taken advantage of the things that we put into the bill. By the way, we have a lot of other things other than that. We have incentives. We have the expensing for businesses, and the expensing is such a big deal. You have a business, you're allowed to deduct it immediately as opposed to over 38 years and other things. And to me, that's one. We had the best economy in the history of our country in my first term, and we're blowing it out now. We're blowing it away now. And despite our little diversion to the lovely country of Iran, lovely place, but we had to do that because otherwise bad things could happen, really bad things. So we've sent out, and I think you're going to see some incredible results, for those people that question it. You're going to see some, the job we've done has been amazing. The ships are out there today, and they're saying, don't come here, don't even think about it. And you have these massive tankers saying, let's get the hell out of here. It's amazing. It's amazing. But we've sent out $30 billion more in refunds than at the same time last year. And employers who adjust their withholding levels now will see an immediate surge in their take-home pay for the remainder of 2026. You're going to see a big surge. The numbers are really tremendous, and that's why I'm out here. If they were bad, I wouldn't be here today. I'd be sitting home watching television, I think. We can never forget that every single radical left Democrat in Congress voted to deny the American people these life-saving changes. They voted for tax increases. They wanted your taxes to go up. I've never seen it before. You know, all my life, I've been sort of always interested in politics. Never did it before. I decided to do it a little while ago, not too long. But I've never seen it before. It always was, I'd watch politicians for 30 years, 40 years. We will lower your taxes. We will lower your taxes. These are the only people, the Democrats now, the modern day Democrats. We will raise your taxes. And I just don't think it's winnable. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little old fashioned, I guess. But they voted for the largest tax hike in history. The Democrats just voted for the largest tax hike in history. Democrats in Congress caused this, you know, the inflation, the fake news gets on me. You know, I have to be very accurate when I speak because they'll say, he's exaggerated. So the real number is 48 years. That inflation's the highest in 48 years. I don't believe that. I think it's the highest in history. But they say, he said history, and they say, but I'm okay with 48 years. 48 years is long enough. What do you think? But the real number they say is 48 years. I believe it's the highest inflation, and they caused it. And they then wanted to raise your tax. So their tax raise that they wanted was more than $5 trillion, which to each person is probably about $4,000 or $5,000. And they wanted to raise your taxes. The great big beautiful bill also slashed taxes on millions of American small businesses, including restaurants, dry cleaners, corner stores. What is a corner store? I've never heard that term. I know what a corner store is, but I've never heard it described. A corner store. Who the hell wrote that, please? And more. As of today, over 12 million small business flyers have paid nearly $7,000 less in taxes. So on average, your small businesses have paid about $7,000 less. That's a lot for a small business. In large part, thanks to our cuts today, the economy is booming. Our economy is booming. You know, you don't read about it. You don't see it so much because of what's going on in Iran, which is really, you know, it's been 2 months. I mean, 2 months. You've been in other wars for 18 years, 4 years with me. I'm in there for a month. Well, he said he'd get out a month. Did you see where I did a list last week? 17 years in Vietnam and 5 years in Afghanistan and more, much more than that, and all these different places. And I said, we were in there for 2 months. And you know what? We're going to have victory very shortly. This is not... And against a very tough, smart country. These people were fighters. And, you know, I don't want to claim it before the fact, but they have no Navy left. 158 ships at the bottom of the sea. 158, think of it. 158. I got angry. I said, why didn't you save them? We could have used them, you know. They would rather shoot them than save them. I said, what the hell? It's only money. But some of them were good. They had one named the Soleimani. You know what the Soleimani? We took him out. He was the worst, one of the worst terrorists in the history of this country, this world. They killed many of our people. Many of our people have been killed. When you see a young soldier mostly going around without legs, without arms, with their faces so badly injured, it was Soleimani that did that. The roadside bombs, they were just terrible. He was the father of the roadside bomb. We killed him. And that had a big impact on Iran. That had a big impact on Iran. Because he was, I think it maybe would be a different story if he were around. I mean, he was a horrible person, a horrible human being. He was a mad genius, but it probably would have been more difficult. We still would have won by fast, but it would have been not probably as fast as it has gone. In the report released last week, core inflation was down to the lowest level in 5 years. And very shortly, we're going to be probably 8 or 9 years. Don't forget, we're having some fake inflation because of the fuel, the energy prices, which everybody said was going to $250. We were talking about that, Scott. They said $250, $300. I mean, today, what was it? It finished at $89 or $90, right? And that's in the, we haven't settled yet. Maybe we won't, but I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. But think of that, how well we're doing, and we have this. A lot of people thought that inflation would be through the roof and the stock market would crash. Well, we just hit an all-time new stock market. So it's amazing. I had people, we have consultants, great guys that we both know, we see, they're very talented. Sir, if you do this, fuel is going to go to $300 a barrel, right? One guy in particular who we like a lot. But I said, I don't think so. I think we're going to be good. We always find a way. You got to find a way. But, sir, don't do it, sir. $300 a barrel. It's going to be a wild thing. It's going to be horrible. The depression is going to happen. Well, it's not going to happen because we just hit a brand new all-time high. Then fuel's at 89. It's actually a lot lower than that in a lot of areas. So, but let's not get away from, let's see what happens over the next week or so. I think you're going to be very impressed. And if you are, vote for the Republicans in the midterms, okay? But the king of Saudi Arabia, a very smart guy, invested $2 trillion. We have Qatar, we have UAE, Saudi Arabia. The king of Saudi Arabia, they invested trillions of dollars in our country. And he said to me a year and a half ago, I was with him, he said, 2 years ago, you were a dead country. Everyone thought America was finished. We were a laughingstock with a president that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs. He was so horrible. I mean, it's not even funny. It's like he was horrible. He allowed 25 million people into the country, totally unvetted and unchecked. And, that's we're still getting them out. And we had 11,888 murderers, 50% of whom murdered more than one people. Let into our country. They emptied their jails into America. But the king said, 2 years ago, you were a dead country. And now you're the hottest country anywhere in the world. Look at us. We're the hottest country in the world. So, pretty good, right? So, to talk more about these incredible things that are happening, I'm going to ask really a respected guy, a great guy, too. He's difficult. This guy. He's difficult, but he's great. And, when he speaks, the whole market gets soothed. When I speak, the market goes a little jittery. And they say, Scott, go out there, clean it up for me, Scott. But no, he's a fantastic guy. And Scott, you're going to say a few words. And then we're going to hear from a few of the people, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Officer, Cruz Littlefield, the co-founder and CEO of a local nonprofit called Power to Parent, Erin Phillips, a bartender and makeup artist, Erica Cassell, and a longtime culinary worker, Nicole Williams, and then we're going to hear from a few others. We're going to go pretty quickly. But, Scott, do you want to say a few words, please? Thank you.
Yes, sir, and thank you. And, Mr. President, it's an honor of a lifetime to be part of this administration, and I thought that your supporters here would like a little behind the scene of your incredible first year. This administration has gotten more done in the first year, and let me tell you how that happens. I remember going to see the president February 2024 at Mar-a-Lago, candidate Trump, and he was talking about no tax on tips. He said he'd been out here and he had the idea, no tax on tips. Service workers should keep their tips. Fast forward, July 2025, the working family tax cuts, the one big beautiful bill gets passed by Congress, and here we are, April 2026, within 24 months, President Trump's idea, it became the law of the land, and we are seeing record tax returns, and the people of Nevada, the people of Clark County are way higher than the national average because of no tax on tips.
Thank you.
President Trump's policies are reviving the American dream. Yesterday was tax day, and under President Trump, we are celebrating how much more money hardworking Americans will keep, not how much the government will take. Thanks to President Trump and congressional Republicans, the working family tax cuts helps every American chart their own path. Throughout this tax season, I have heard from American workers, families, diner and restaurant owners, bartenders, waiters and waitresses in communities across the country, and it is clear that workers and families are feeling the benefits. The administration is upholding the foundational principle that hardworking Americans should be rewarded with the fruits of their labor, not punished by tax hikes. And this tax season proves it. In households across America, 53 million filers had taken advantage of at least one of the president's signature tax cuts: no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, enhanced tax relief for our great seniors, and the ability to deduct interest on new car loans if it's an American car. And this is the refunds and the tax cuts have exceeded our expectations. Here in Las Vegas, millions of hardworking Americans have benefited, and I want you all to remember, every single Democrat voted against this program. So more than 6 million filers have taken the advantage of no tax on tips. 25 million filers, no tax on overtime. And this is what happens when policies are made for workers and not for DC. And also, as the head of the IRS, I want to also tell all of you two things. Go to trumpaccounts.gov if you have not registered your children for Trump accounts. It's very easy to remember, trumpaccounts.gov, and fill out form number 4547. For those of you who have children born during President Trump's term, Treasury will seed that account with $1,000. For those of you with children under 18, you can add to those accounts. Great philanthropists like Michael, Susan, Dell are adding to that. And the other thing, too, is I want to remind everyone, change your withholding. If you're getting a big tax return, a big tax refund this year, it's because you didn't change your withholding last year. If you change your withholding now, you'll get an automatic raise in your real income. Your weekly, monthly income will go up right here, right now. And I just want to thank President Trump for championing this program, because I can tell you, some of the more traditional Republicans on economics didn't want this to be part of the program. President Trump fought for this the whole way, and this is why we have a new, bigger Republican Party. It's because of policies like this. So thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Before I answer you, I just want to say two things to me very important. So right now in this country, we have more people working than at any time in the history of our country. Think of that. And also, that's pretty good. And, while in Europe and a lot of other places, they're looking for oil, they're looking for gas, they want gasoline, they're having a hard time. We have a lot. So at this moment, right now, we have more oil production than Russia and Saudi Arabia, by far, Russia and Saudi Arabia put together. If you add them up together, and by next year, it will be double that amount. So it's pretty amazing. Those two facts. More people working than ever before. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Officer Cruz Littlefield, please.
Mr. President, thank you so much and welcome to Las Vegas. My name is Cruz Littlefield. I'm a local police officer and a Las Vegas native. I have a deep appreciation for the city and have made it my calling to now protect and serve those who also call it home. With the passage of the great, big, beautiful bill, my wife and I have benefited from the elimination of taxes on overtime, allowing us to stretch every dollar in an increasingly expensive world. With less financial stress, I'm able to be a better and effective asset to my community and more present with my family. We also just welcomed our newborn baby girl a week ago, and and have already contacted our CPA to make sure that the Trump account gets started and
Good,
set up.
that's good. That's great.
Thanks to you, we're now securing her a better financial future than we were ever given as kids. Mr. President, thank you for your time. And thank you for your continued efforts to support the American people, especially here in Las Vegas. I have family and friends, this is my brother,
Oh, good.
but I have family and friends in Las Vegas who are barbers, small business owners, bartenders, and first responders. And every burden lifted for them is a step towards a stronger and safer community. So thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Cruz. Good job. Good job. The co-founder and CEO of a local nonprofit doing really well called Power to Parent, Erin Phillips.
I'm right here, actually. Hi. I'm Erin Phillips. It's an honor to be here as a mom and a founder of this nonprofit organization. We believe that empowered parents protect kids. And so everything we do flows out of that idea. And as a mom of 5, this is deeply personal to me. It's not just something that, I talk about regularly. We've seen so many families, especially in our community, that feel outmatched by systems. And so what we do is we try to empower them to advocate for themselves through policy and really just help with their children's education in general, and any issue that is a parental rights issue. So that's what we do. And I just want to thank you for what you've done in regards to protecting women's sports. We know that, when we protect women's sports, we're really protecting the opportunities that our daughters have. And I have daughters myself, and so it's so important. And so many girls have already been hurt. So thank you for what you've done on that level. And then, it also helps them know that they're worth protecting and that they matter. And I think that's something that we haven't shown our girls prior to this. One more thing that I just really want to highlight is the federal tax credit scholarship. And I just need you to know that this is a game changer for families and who feel stuck. I think oftentimes we have these families that I already mentioned that they feel outmatched by systems and they are stuck in a system that is not working for their child. And so what this scholarship does is it expands education freedom, and it gives parents the power to choose the right education for their children. And families that we serve in our community, it means hope, it means access, it means a future for their children that they otherwise wouldn't be able to afford. And we are already preparing to help families access this money here in Nevada. So thank you for that. And lastly, I just want to say that I'm grateful for your leadership because you recognize the critical role that families play. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. Thank you, Erin. Good job. Thank you very much. Bartender and makeup artist, Erica Cassell.
Hi, President Trump. I'm a makeup artist and a bartender here in Las Vegas. I just wanted to say thank you for all you've done for us. I know as a bartender, the no tax on tips is amazing, especially, I'm gonna start crying, guys. I expect you, Mom. It's great for my daughter as well. The Trump account's also amazing, so thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Good. Will you enjoy and good luck. Good job. Thank you, darling. And a longtime culinary worker, a great person, Nicole Williams. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole.
Hello, Mr. President. I am a longtime bartender on the Las Vegas Strip, and I first heard the idea of no tax on tips mentioned to me by my friend Alita, who helped manage your campaign in Nevada, and she's amazing. She mentioned it to me, and I started thinking about what an awesome idea it was, because in Nevada we have what is called a tip compliance. Not a lot of people know about that, where the IRS comes in and they say, you're going to make this amount of tips in an hour, we're going to tax you on that. Even if you don't make that amount of tips, you're going to get taxed on it. So I thought that would be an incredible opportunity to keep some more cash in my pocket. So then she reached out, and I actually spoke at an event for No Tax on Tips. I spoke with you the day that Robert Kennedy endorsed you for president, which was an amazing experience. So thank you for that. And so I did campaign for you, and I was like, I want to see this policy come to fruition. So when I heard about the One Big Beautiful Bill and that being included in it, it was just a reminder that it's promises made, promises kept for you. And so to see that come to fruition was amazing. And I do have 7 children, so the earned income tax credit for them is going to be helpful as well. Waiting on my husband, who's in real estate, to get his receipts together, so, but we will expect to see a greater tax return we can use for a car or, for our son going to school, like a trade school. It's our oldest child. So we're very excited. And I just want to thank you so much for getting that done for the people and for my family.
Thank you. Good job. Thank you. And, just in wrapping up, a man who's been with me, I think every event I've done out here, is your lieutenant governor. Highly respect. He's really a good man. He's been to every event. Stavros Anthony. Stavros.
Mr. President, Mr. Secretary, first of all, welcome to the greatest city in the world, Las Vegas, and to the great state of Nevada. So one of my responsibilities as a lieutenant governor is the chairman of the Nevada Tourism Commission. So I work with a great group of individuals to promote tourism in Las Vegas and in the state of Nevada. And there's a lot of reasons why people come to Las Vegas and keep coming back to Las Vegas. And one of those is because we have the greatest hospitality employees in the world here in Las Vegas. Absolutely. We all remember 2 years ago you had another one of your massive rallies here in Nevada. It was actually at Sunset Park, just south of here. And you made this no tax on tips pledge, and everybody heard it for the first time, and people were just excited. And as Nicole mentioned, it wasn't just a pledge, but you did it. So on behalf of all the hospitality workers here in Las Vegas and Nevada, thank you for putting more money in the pockets of our families. Thank you. And just one other thing, I'm a former captain with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. I know how much overtime these police officers work and how much overtime a lot of employees work. And for you to make that pledge and come through and no taxes on overtime, again, thank you very much for putting money in the pockets of our families. God bless you all.
Thank you, Senator. So I just want to say this is a special state. It's a special place. We've done so well here. I have so many friends here. It was great before I ran for politics, ran for office, and right up till this moment, and even this event, there's a lot of love. There's just such love. And, those 3 things, but especially here, but really here it's all 3. It's overtime, right? And it's, you take a look at the tips. The tips are, I don't even know which is the biggest. You could probably take a poll. And it's Social Security. No tax on Social Security, who would think? And when I did it, it was a pretty big number. Could I ask you, which is the best of the 3? No tax on, clap, no tax on Social Security. That's not bad. Okay, ready? No tax on tips. No tax on overtime. I think Social Security won. Hey, so much for no tax on tips. I think Social Security won. Hey, I just want to thank you all. We love you all. The country is doing really well. We're respected all over the world. We are respected, I think like never before. Thank you. I think like never before. And thank you all very much. God bless you all. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Hey, welcome back to the Dennis Herrera Show. This is the second half of the day. No tax on tips. Actually, that is some very great news. A lot of people took advantage of it. I asked my friend, he works at Denny's. He's been working at Denny's for decades. He literally has a career, being a server. Now, I've done server before, and I can tell you, I make on a good weekend, and no, I was not a stripper. I was a server. On a good weekend, I will make over $500 just in tips. And the worst thing is, like, a lot of people wanted to tip more, but it had to be paid with card. And when they pay with card, then automatically all the tips get charged on there. And it's, to me, it's like I always counted my tips, and I still pay taxes on it. But it would have been nice to keep every one bit of those tips on there, because I don't know why they thought it was okay to tax tips. I never understand this idea of getting tax on tip. I don't know. Maybe I'm just ignorant. Maybe I'm just dumb about it. But again, a tip is like free money. It's just like, you're working for it. There's a difference, but they don't go and tax the people begging for money. Some of these people make $300-$400 a day just begging. And I mean, they're not paying taxes. I mean, those are just handouts. They're tips, whatever you want to call them. But I don't know what the hell I'm saying with that. Oh, I just know that, hey, listen, if they're charging me per hour labor, they're not paying me what they're supposed to pay me in the beginning, okay? So all my tips should be sort of a benefit to me. Oh, man. I can't believe that. I can't believe that. So President Trump is going to be 80 years old on June 14. I am going to be 50 years old on June 16. That means that President Trump is 30 years older than me, and this old man has more energy than I do. I'll tell you that right now. So anybody coming in here trying to clown on him, please. He ain't no Joe Biden. Let me just tell you that much right now. And if you get to be 79 years old and you are as agile as he is and active and productive as he is, man, God bless you. You're amazing. But I know that by the time I'm 70, who knows? Who knows how I'm going to be? I can only hope that I can be, half as good as he is today, because he's already making me look bad at my age. I'll tell you that right now. I wanted to touch up on the billionaire CEO reveals who'll be penalized if rich exodus continues. Now, you guys already know. So we talk about taxes, but we got to talk about other things that Democrats, socialist Democrats, I want to point this out. The Democrat Party is not my party anymore. That doesn't exist. The Socialist Democrats is the new cancer of America. And if you are part of that because you're a Democrat, let me just tell you, they're not real Democrats like you. You need to rethink your life decisions right now and actually examine what they are doing and make a sound decision. Listen, we cannot continue to be loyal to a party that keeps lying to us. You got to be able to switch and hope that we can get this Democratic Party back in line, because we have too many mentally ill people in government. It's no joke. And the problem is that these people look semi-normal. You wouldn't know they have a problem. They had to be diagnosed. Like you see them and you don't even know. You can't tell, but the decisions that they're making, they're irrational. Like, I'm going to give you an example, and I know maybe some veterans might get mad at me for this, but let me tell you something. The Senator Tammy Duckworth, I think she's from Hawaii, right? I think that's where she's from. She's the senator that got deployed. I don't know if it was. I think it was in Iraq. What was that? The Black Hawk helicopter that got shot down by a handheld rocket launcher, I think it was, or grenade launcher, and she lost both of her legs. But she's the senator. Is she a senator? Yeah, she's a senator, right? Yeah, she's a senator. Tammy Duckworth. And she's lost her damn mind. This lady is out of her freaking mind. Now, with her, I don't blame her, right? Because she lost both of her legs. I get it. Maybe a little bit sour with life. I get it. But she is talking about, how Trump is a coward, this and that. And I'm just like, okay, lady, there's a lot of presidents that didn't serve in the military. Barack Obama was one of them. So we shouldn't be talking shit about anybody. I don't believe that everybody should go to the military in order to serve this country. I just don't believe that. Not at all. I don't believe that at all. Can you imagine we have every single citizen go to the military? What the hell? Who's going to do the civil duties? You just can't. And when people say, oh, they should enlist, they should, you should go, you should send your son. Bro, that's common sense. But the way that you guys say it on the left side, not you guys here, but the people on the left side that said that, they don't say it as an honorable thing. Hey, go tell them to defend our country. They don't do it in that manner. They do it in a manner of degrading somebody's valor. When I think about soldiers, listen, I don't think soldiers are supposed to be a decoration. Soldiers are not supposed to be some toys that you can play with. You know what I'm saying? The military is not supposed to be just some people that go and earn this uniform and get a bunch of medals like they're in some Boy Scouts. No, military men are warriors. And when they are called upon, they will respond. That's why nobody wanted to sign up for the military when they had a men and women's dress. They didn't want to fight for the country when the general thought that he was a man, a woman. No masculinity, no respect for anything. How can you find yourself to join the military when you got this literally people that are just dummies, not warriors? That is crazy. But now we have real warriors in the military. Everybody, listen, everybody has a different experience. I have a lot of vets in my chat. I have a lot of vets that tell me stories. I got it. I got family that are vets as well. I got family that have died in and off any of the war. I got family that have been killed in car accidents. They're in the military, but the accident was here. Long Beach is one of them. She goes off crazy on the president, and then she has a list of things behind her. And I'm reading the list of things for the Army, because she was in the Army. And I was looking at the list of things for the Army, and I'm like, you just broke 5 of those things by talking the way you talk about the president. I respect everybody that serves. Listen, I got it. I get you. But but I see the people that come over here messed up in their heads. I know of people that can't sleep. I know people that are having a hard time. But you know what? They still haven't turned themselves against this country. They can curse and they can say this and that, but doggone it, they still have common sense to support somebody who fights for this country. How did Suzu get out of jail? Suzu's not supposed to be here. I'm going to hide him from my channel again. Listen, I respect military. You guys know that. And the reason why you get so much honor and so much respect from me is because what you have chosen to do, which is serve in the military, it's not a walk in the park. It's not cake. Some people are lucky to go through training and retire without even being sent on any mission, without being deployed anywhere, and they still get the same honor. You can be a clerk here in the States, in an office, but because you have the uniform of the military, you get the honor that we give our soldiers, even though your ass didn't even see no war. So you don't be stupid. When you think, oh my God, he just wants us to kill our soldiers, shut up. They know damn well what they're signing up for. And this country wouldn't be what it is today if we didn't have those people signing up for the military. You're making cowards out of your children. My daughter just came in and gave me some paperwork from the school. She's 13 years old. Police STEM Academy. What? God bless her, man. My daughter is a strong girl. Let me tell you something. My daughter will beat up your kids. And I'm talking about boys. She is that tough. A lot of the family, because in Samoa, a lot of people get enrolled in the military. Boy, if my daughter was a boy, oh my goodness. Right now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'll be looking to see what college she's going to play for. Well, he would play for. Because my daughter is very strong. I am not exaggerating. I had the one of the teachers that she has in her school came and asked me, man, what are you feeding your daughter? And I said, well, what happened? I already know what happened. She beat him in arm wrestling. And I was like, well, yeah, you know, she can't beat me. I don't let my daughter beat me. I make her fight for it. You know what I'm saying? And she's very strong. But you know what? She's still a female. I still defend her. And of course there's going to be probably girls bigger than her or guys. But the main thing is that I'm not here to to make excuses for why the kids are not in the military. If they want to be in the military, that is a very honorable thing to do. Man, Police Academy. 13 years old. She's got to go. She's got to sign up. If that's what she wants to try, she needs to go try it and see if she can make it. I know she's strong. I know that she's very dedicated. And I know that it'd be a good thing. Hey, how you doing, Mel? So I'm going to give her a chance. If my kids want to go to the military, hey, listen, this is what's going to happen. You might get deployed, might come back with half your body. Maybe you might not come back at all. That what you want? Yes, okay, well, you honor me. You honor me and you honor this country. And yes, the hard part is to send our children to go die for people that don't appreciate them. That's the worst thing you can do. You know, we got thousands of soldiers right now all over the world, placed everywhere. And when you come over here and you say that they're just fools following orders to their death, what are you saying to those people? You can't tell them that. Jason Beatrice, he's one of my members here. His son is in the military. This warrior could not wait to get deployed. He's just over there, just jumping, put me in, coach. Put me in, coach. Let me loose. Let me go. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's the real American warriors. Some people don't understand this. And I'm going to tell you why I am different than my older brothers and why I beat up my older brothers. Let me tell you something. Since as far as I can remember as a child, since as far as I can remember from a child, I've always been a warrior spirit. I take a lot after my father. I don't take a lot after his skin color, but I take a lot after my father on his spirit. And let me tell you, Honduras might be a third world country right now, and it might be full with corruption and all this other shit, but I can tell you that my family comes from a very, very noble family, and they are warriors. Our whole purpose was to defend our families. That was it. Courageous, not stupid. Courageous, meaning they were fearful and they overcame that fear. All the way back to the 1500s when the Spaniards came over to Honduras, they could not take Honduras over because our Indians were too strong. And you're going to tell me that you have cannons and musks and all this shit and you can't beat some Indians with bows and arrows? Well, they couldn't. They couldn't do it because they were real warriors. They didn't care if they died for their family. But they also didn't go out there and try to get themselves killed. They're smart warriors. And I think that every single person in the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, the Army, the Coast Guard, everybody, every single one of my servicemen are warriors, and I love them because they are better than I am. They are real men and real women fighting for us. And I'm going to tell you this. Our military will be successful. We will come back victorious. They will come back, and we will honor them with tears of joy and thankfulness and gratefulness, while the rest of the people that are against us reap the benefits of the few that are actually courageous and actually support and defend and protect this country. Everybody else, if you are a veteran and you are now speaking against the president and you did many tours, you should still be supporting President Trump because he honors you. Why did you make an oath to serve? Do not forget your oath. And don't let these retards tell you that President Trump is giving you illegal orders, because it's not. I'm going to tell you something. I have always defended those who were smaller than me, even when I got my ass handed to me. That's just the way I've always been in my life. I hate to see people being mistreated and in trouble. Why do you think that I cuss people out sometimes? Why do you think that that I'm always like getting in trouble with people? Because I don't stand for injustice. If something is not right, I got to say something. You know, at work, I got in trouble one time. I'm working with this guy. He's a Gemini like I am, but he's a wuss. We're having a talk, and I'm talking over there about, you know, our people that are out there, you know, doing what they got to do. And the guy is just whining, and he's just like, oh, no, I don't want to talk about that. And you know what? He's like, he gets mad at me, and I tell him, I said, stop being a pussy. And yes, he was my supervisor. I said, you got to stop being a pussy and stand up for your country. Goes to the manager. Oh, well, you know what? He called me a pussy. And the manager comes over with HR, and then we go up to the office, office upstairs, and then we sit there and talk. And he's like, "Oh yeah, well, you know, he's talking about this. I told him not to talk." But I was like, "Listen, man, you were the one that brought up the conversation about this, and that." And then the manager is looking at me, and I said, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna say if something is true, I'm gonna say it. If something is not right, I'm gonna let you know. You know how I am." And the manager just kind of, you know, got this little smirk on his face and just kind of smiled at me. And then when the supervisor was going to tell me, he's like, well, you know, he called me a pussy. And he's like, the manager said, I don't care about that. He said, yeah, but he's like, she said, are you a pussy? And he says, no. Then what's the problem? I said, you know what? I'm old school. You know, I'm 80s curse guy. I'm an 80s curse guy. I believe that people are wusses if they don't want to stand up for what's right. If there are a lot of people that can beat me up, absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of people can beat me up. But even when I have 5 odds against me, I still defended myself. 23 people, the only time I ran away from a fight. I gotta be who I gotta be. This is the way God made me, and this is the way that life has taught me to be. That's the way I'm gonna be. It doesn't matter if somebody offers me money to do something illegal. Hell no. No. If somebody offered me when I was in my 20s and I needed some money, he's like, well, you can make $2,000 right now. Just go sell some rock. And I said, hell no. Well, then you stop complaining about what you don't have. And I said, you know what? You're right. I'm going to get a second job. And I did 2 jobs for many years. Thank goodness I had a lot of stamina back then. I can't do it now. I mean, I can do it, but I'll be passing out on the second job. That's just the way it works. So anywho, our military, they are warriors. We love them, and we will support them no matter what. If they listen, there is only two kinds of teams. We got the home team, and then you have the away team. Right now, the away team has been warring against us for 47 years. We stood here and done nothing. Presidents talked about doing something, and they never did anything about it. Now, I'm not talking about strikes here and there because Obama did some strikes. I think Biden, well, the digital pen did some strikes somewhere, right? And we know Bush did some strikes as well, and they got some deployments, the Gulf War from Senior and all this other shit. I get that. But they have been saying that all of these attacks, they actually all come birth from Iran, from this terrorist regime. It is crazy. And nobody has done anything about it except President Donald Trump. And so the soldiers that we have, if they get sent over there to go and fight, even if Congress doesn't like it, you need to support them. For the very simple reason that they are your freaking people. The stupidity of the American people who go against our military, whether we are right or wrong, you have to understand something. If you are against us, you are with the enemy. And who do you want to live for? And somebody asked me this before. He's like, oh, Dennis, well, you're from Honduras. So if there was a war between Honduras and the United States, who would you fight for? The dumbest ass question. Where I live at? The United States of America. I will fight for the United States of America. Absolutely, 100%. Oh, traitor. No. We're fighting against corruption. The United States doesn't go out there and fight innocent people. Is there collateral damage? Is there accidents like the school that got the missile? Listen, I get it. Nothing is perfect. Out of thousands and thousands of strikes, one mistake, and that's all you know. All of our Marines have more huevos than any other leftist man out there. They got more cojones than any leftist out there. They're real, man. Some of them, I get it. They're afraid. It's normal. But that's why we honor them and tell them how courageous they are, because we know that it's scary. The thought of the uncertainty, the thought of going into the dark, it's scary. Maybe for some it's not, but for most of us is. But you got to be able to believe in something. And I believe in God, and I believe that if our soldiers die, that God's got them, and we will see them again. The devil wants to put fear in your life so that you can be divided, so that you can be destroyed. It is that simple. Right now we're fighting a terrorist regime. Why would anybody in their right mind go against the United States of America and support a terrorist group? It just makes no sense to me. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Whether we are there for the right or the wrong reasons is irrelevant. That's our military. You never wish for our military to die and lose. I don't understand why people can't see that. You think that the Muslim Americans give a shit about our military? They don't. They don't. You think all these Indians that come in here and migrate into our country, you think they care about our military? They don't. You think all these illegal immigrants that come into our chats and to our conservative channels and all these millions of people protesting on the street because they're illegal, they're paid protesters, etc., you think they give a damn about our military? They don't. But doggone it, we do. We do. God bless our military. I don't care what China has. I don't care what Russia has. I don't care what the UK says. I don't care what NATO says. My military servicemen are out there representing us. F what the world thinks about it. We will always stand for our American military no matter what. If you are not for us, you are against us. Simple. Very simple. You think the innocent children over there are worth more than our innocent children? Innocent children go to God. Automatically, they're innocent. But there is no way that I will ever be able to say, I want my neighbor's family to be alive and my family to die. Never. Ever. It doesn't matter how much I love the neighbors. Doesn't matter how much I like them. I will not ever turn my back on my family. The United States military, that is our family. You don't hand them out to dry. If you come into this country from a war, from a tour, and you saw some crazy ass shit, you got to ground yourself on why you went there in the first place. If you went for money, I get why you're confused. If you went just for education, I get why you're confused. But if you signed up saying, I am willing to die for my country, you have no problem understanding why what happened, and why you're back over here. My love to my veterans. I know the ones that can't sleep. I know the ones that have nightmares. Brings tears to my eyes. What can I do? Nothing. That's the sacrifice. That's the price you pay. Some don't even see war. Some don't even get deployed, and they have PTSD because of something that happened. War is nasty. War is the last thing that we want to do. But we must do it if you want peace. You know, people keep talking about, diplomacy. Listen, how many times have we used diplomacy and they keep attacking us? Right now, listen, right now. Let me play this clip for you. It's so much harder when you give a damn. It's so much harder when you care. When you really care, it's harder. It's harder to explain why things need to be done the way that they are being done. I know, Robert. I love you, big bro. I'm with you. I am with you. And more importantly, God is with you. God bless you, man. God bless you and every other veteran that's out there that's going through some hard times. Listen, this Islamic regime, I want you to understand something. I want you to understand something. I don't want you to hate the Iranian people. Let's be clear. We don't hate Iranian people. We love those people. I wish we can have all of them here, honestly. All the good Iranian people, I wish we had them all here. I wish I could go around the world and just gather the best people and bring them here and make the greatest nation. And get rid of all the leftists and all these libtards that we have in this country. But listen, I want you to understand, do not hate the Iranian people. We love the Iranian people. Listen, whether we like their culture or not is irrelevant. They have their countries, they have their cities. Listen, there's a lot of humble towns. Believe me, I don't know in person. I go in Google Maps sometimes and I go into towns where, oh my God, like, how can you help these people? It's crazy. But let me get to my point. My point is that we are fighting an Islamic regime who will kill their own people for the simple reason of speaking their mind. If you don't think the high gas prices right now is worth saving lives, shut the hell up and get out of my channel.
Rights groups now reporting Iranian courts have sentenced 4 more people to death over January's protests in Iran, including the first woman set for execution. Dr. Sheila Nazarian fled Iran as a child. She's now a plastic surgeon, lives in California, and she's back on our program and joins me now. Doctor, why don't you comment on this woman a moment here? But since the beginning of this war, these are the numbers we've tracked. 656 executions in 3 months, 341 in January, 307 in February, 8 recorded in March while Iran was offline. Let me get to being offline in a moment here, but you were talking about violations called crimes against God. And when a woman is executed in Iran, the details you provide are harrowing. Is this going to happen?
Bill, Bill, in Iran, just to let your audience know, they believe this regime, these Islamists, they believe that if a woman is killed and she's a virgin, she goes to heaven. So what they do is they will gang rape her before they execute her. And it's just mind-boggling to me, this Elizabeth Banks sitting comfy in a little cushy couch on a podcast with her hair slicked back, talking about how could anyone vote for Donald Trump. Well, you know, Kamala Harris posted on X yesterday that this is a war of choice, and Donald Trump is the only one helping these people in Iran. So Elizabeth Banks, this woman, Bita, is about to be gang raped and publicly executed, and so are 3 more women. And they have been doing this to many young people. Every single day, 1 or 2 public executions. So you're sitting there on your cushy couch talking about Kamala Harris. You claim to be a feminist. You claim to be a humanitarian. Where are you when the women need you? You're a fake. You are a hypocrite. You are of no help to anyone. So if you claim to be a feminist, you claim to be a humanitarian, you claim to be a good person, America, Iran isn't just a military war or peace in the Middle East or oil stabilization. This is a humanitarian issue. They are killing young people every single day. And the only one that has helped is President Trump.
You know, it's a lack of knowledge and understanding, really. And you understand it better than most. I think about that 19-year-old wrestler who was sentenced to death. I mean, just barbarian. But when I hear you talk
Bill,
about
let
this,
me tell
you talk about this as a humanitarian issue. Because you're thinking about 92 million people who have been subjected to this government for almost 50 years, Doctor.
Yeah, the reason why my family escaped Iran on the back of a pickup truck while the Iranian border police was shooting at us to not escape is because they put my father on a kill list because he was the chief medical officer, a physician affiliated with the Shah's hospital. Okay? I'm so grateful that my family got me out of Iran, me and my sister. They had 2 daughters. They could see this is no future for a girl in Iran. And imagine there are millions of people in Iran who knew westernization, who knew freedom 47 years ago, and they lost it because the useful idiots on college campuses, the leftists on college campuses, joined hands with the Islamists, which is exactly what's happening here. They're using the exact same playbook, the exact same propaganda. And they would say things like, why is the Shah living in a castle while there's homeless people on the street? There's no equity here. They use flowery words to trick comfortable, useful idiots on college campuses who have no real problems, to trick them into bringing Islam into the world.
Yeah, perhaps that's about to come to an end. We'll see on that. Quickly on this, New York Times, even as most Iranians remain cut off from the world, many officials and a limited cadre of Iranian elites have been granted an open connection through what critics call whitelisting. So we think, like, for 48 days, the internet has been basically out. Are you getting information from inside Iran that we have not been able to track down?
The only things that I'm hearing from Iran is that they don't want the bombs to stop. They are more afraid of this regime than they are of the targeted attacks that Israel and America are doing.
Doctor, thanks for coming on. Remember, we thought they were going to go to the street, but when you're faced with an execution in public, it can make you think differently. Dr. Sheila Nazarian, thanks for coming.
And that's how they shut their people up. That is how they shut their people up. Thank you, Cutting Edge. Now the Iranian people are making little factions to attack the IRGC. You know, I don't know if you guys were aware of this, and I haven't really followed the story on this, but I heard that President Trump, like we sent the Iranian people weapons, and I can't remember who was the people in charge of this, but we send them weapons so that they can defend themselves, and apparently the weapons never made it to the Iranian people. Can somebody collaborate on that? I will appreciate it. So anyway, I need you to understand something, that we are here and we are supposed to protect our military no matter what they are doing. Obviously, we don't want them to do bad things. We don't want them to be like, the Kurds. Thank you, W. Yep, the Kurds. And that's gonna be a problem. I don't know what's happening there. I'm sure that the General Kane and them, they have it all figured out. But that's what I heard. I don't know the actual facts about it. It's just a rumor, hearsay. But the fact is, and I know that I am 100% right, 100% right. If you don't support our military, if you continue to speak negative about our military forces, you are part of the problem, and your ass needs to go to Iran and go help the regime. That's what you got to do. If you don't support, it's just the same thing as if you are an illegal immigrant. If you don't support the United States, get the hell out of this country and go live in the country that you support. It is that simple. There is no coincidence that we have a massive flux of invasion from illegal immigrants from all over the world, especially the Middle East. There's no coincidence. And and when we catch them, like in Minnesota, all these people, they stole billions of dollars from our economy to support a country of pirates in the northeast of Africa, Somalia. And the Socialist Democrats are the only ones fighting to stop investigations of who is involved. They're out there protecting Tampon Tim, Ilhan Omar. They're protecting all of these corrupted people. And even though these people are saying death to America, they still defend them. It just doesn't make sense to me. How can anybody in their right mind support these people? California's got the Nick Shirley Act that they're blocking. They don't want fraud to be investigated. Now, granted, I believe that there is some ways to go about it. I think that maybe Nick Shirley pulled the gun too quick. He should have recorded all these videos, all this investigation, and then make it legit and official with some actual, investigators and maybe some police or lawyers or somebody, and then release it. But the fact is, the guy did what he was supposed to do as best as he thought he could do it. The government, Gavin Newsom, and all these people, like, there is a flux. There's a massive migration. And you know what? At the end of the day, if people let it happen, it's going to happen. And that's just the bottom line. If they just raise taxes up the yin-yang here, some people in the future are going to want to stay here. Some people will probably still here and be here and just never own anything. And that can also happen. But you cannot turn a blind eye. We see fraud. The same people. Why is it? Why is it that they have the same religion? Why is it? Why is it that they have to be Muslims? Why can't they be Buddhist? Why can't they be Christians? Let's not go with the Christians because there's a lot of things that we can talk about here, but they will just be theories since nobody has been investigating. And apparently everything is legit since they are a nonprofit. But still, the point is, why isn't there Christians saying death to America? Why isn't there Christians saying death to another country? We don't do that. We don't do that. And if President Trump says he's going to annihilate a whole civilization, it's because he needs to talk the language that they talk. He knows how to deal with people. The thing is, Dennis, is a freedom of speech. The law will be blocked and taken out instantly. Thank you, Cutting Edge. Well, they kill people in Iran for using the freedom of speech. Yeah, if you think that you should impeach Trump right now, you're a moron. And thank you for stopping by, but get the hell out of here. All right, listen to this. This is what's happening. We're going to switch gears a little bit. Maybe we'll come back to this subject, but this is what's happening here in New York. Here we go. CEO. Let me see. Billionaire CEO is going to give us some information here.
So with me now is a New York guy, John Katsimatidis. Okay, let me see if I understand this. If I hightail down to Florida and buy a mansion down there, leaving me home a mansion in New York City worth $5 million, that mansion that stays in New York, that's going to be taxed. Is that right?
That sounds pretty right, because if you make Florida your home, they're saying, we don't want you to have a legal home in Florida and then we get nothing. And I think that's what they're trying to create. But there's two things in our city. 2% of the people, we said that before, pay 48% of the taxes in New York City, New York State. And if those people reach the oh crap level or whatever, that's what the president says, oh crap, so I can say that. What happens? They're going to keep the exodus will keep going on. And we don't want the exodus to go on.
Wait a second. Mandami says that this threat of rich people leaving, that is imagined. That's his word. He's basically saying they're not going to leave.
Well, you want to know something? Maybe the billionaires won't leave, but the rich people will leave. That is the difference. The middle class that makes more than $500,000 a year, and there's a lot of them.
Yep.
If the exodus continues, you know who gets penalized? New York City, New York State has 500,000 employees. If they leave, guess what? The 500,000 employees will have a problem. They'll start laying them off. And that's who gets penalized. And the pensions will have a problem. And we want New York. There's two things that are not negotiable. The quality of life in New York. We want to be safe. We want to walk around safe. And we don't want to be, any particular class should not be targeted. Why are you targeting it? I mean, that's why the pilgrims came to America.
But they got the money. The rich and the class that's got the money, and the rest, these socialists want it. They're going to take it.
Well, guess what?
I think it's wrong.
They might end up blowing up. And that's what the problem is.
One can but hope. Now, Mandami, he made a surprising admission about the cost of what he sells in city-owned grocery stores. Watch this.
When it comes to the products that we will be selling at these city-run grocery stores, there will be an essential basket of goods that will be guaranteed at a cheaper price. And please. Cheaper than what they're being sold at currently. I can't give you an exact example of the cost of a cucumber in our essentials basket, but what I can tell you is that when New Yorkers come to city-run grocery stores, they will see a clear price differential when it comes to those essentials.
Okay. You run a successful grocery chain, Gristedes. Can he sell a basket of basic items at a lower price than you or anybody else?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, because they said that they're not going to charge any rent, and they're not going to charge. If you don't charge me any rent right now, I'll reduce prices 20% tomorrow morning.
You can do that?
Absolutely.
So he can, in fact. So he can sell.
Don't forget,
cheap.
we're paying the highest rent in the world. We're paying you're paying real estate taxes, the highest in the world, and then we're paying a tax on tax. We're paying commercial rent tax on top of the real estate tax. In other words, we're taxing the tax. I mean, and then we have congestion tax. I mean, it gets harder and harder to do business. We want to have lower prices. If we don't pay any rent, 20% tomorrow morning.
Okay, one last one for you. Secretary Bessent, he says he's looking towards gas prices.
We'll put a pause in there. You want to talk about unaffordability. I'm not a CEO billionaire, and I've been telling you this for many months now. I've been telling you what causes unaffordability. You heard it right there. If you didn't hear the same thing that I heard, did you hear that everything will go down 20% tomorrow? But the socialist Democrats, the local government, causes a burden on those businesses that provide a service or employment, and when they get punished for the success, everything goes up. I've been saying this for months and months, and nobody wants to freaking listen on the left. And now here we go. Gas. Let's see what he says about gas.
This summer. He said you'll be in the $3 range sometime between June and September. You're an oil man. You give me a prediction, please, of the price of regular gas on July the 4th.
Oh, July the 4th. Was that 60 days away? What are we? I would say it'd be once the war is over. If we succeed in 2 weeks, what do we have left? 7 days, 8 days. If we succeed on peace with Iran, last time I was here, we went down $20 a barrel that morning. It'll go down another $20 a barrel, and I would say it'll be below $3.
The moment we get a peace deal with Iran, the price of oil goes down $20 a barrel, and therefore the price of gasoline will go down significantly.
Significantly the next day.
We like that, John. I like that
you.
a lot. You can come back anytime you like, all right?
There you go. So why is the left going so crazy and then going off on us? You know, I don't understand where people get their common sense is not common sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have it. There you go. You know, I made $8,000 when this whole tariff panicking went through. I made $8,000 on my 401k. Now, I didn't do my aggressive like a lot of people did. People that were doing aggressive porting on 401k lost a lot of money. That's the name of the game. That is the name of the game. If you want to go very aggressive, you can make a lot of money fast, but you can lose money very fast depending on the change on the market. And you know what? I made $8,000. I got $4,000 back in tax returns, which I won't qualify for next year because now I'm making too much money. But next year, it's a whole different thing. As long as I don't owe taxes, I'm fine. But this year, I was able to get $4,000 more than I ever got before. And that is all thanks to the big, beautiful bill. Whether you like Trump or not is irrelevant. If you are in a condition where you're making good money, you shouldn't get taxes back. Hey, you know what? Be thankful that you don't owe taxes. But for those people who are actually working full time and are under, a certain threshold economically, those people are getting a lot of money. Let me tell you something. If people were getting $10,000 before what this big, beautiful bill coming through and no tax on tips on everything, 10,000 just went up even higher. It is very simple. Very simple. Island Johnny, get the fuck out of my channel, bro. Don't call me a liar. I hate it when people falsely accuse me, especially when I am the most honest person saying something, you will get the F word out of my mouth. That pisses me off. Why is people so stupid? I don't understand. People are so dumb. Like, go to another chat where they leftist and retarded like you. I want smart people here. The retards can go over there and be on the leftist podcast. We are Democrats, Republicans, Independents together, but we have common sense. We stand for America first. That's the people I want on my channel. Everybody else, get the hell out. If you hate this country, you shouldn't be on my chat. Big mistake. You came to the wrong place. Unbelievable. Let me see. I got one message from President Trump. That's what we just watched. Okay. All right. I want to say, hey guys, if you're a veteran, man, God bless you. You know, you're in my prayers, and I pray for you. You guys know who you are, and I appreciate you being here. Let me share this this clip from a friend of mine.
So as you guys know,
Hold on, Brandy. We're not best friends. She is just a friend of mine. She is on the same fight as I am. She was attacked by the leftist peaceful protesters, and she has an update on something that happened to her not too long ago. So let's take a listen to this, and then I will go ahead and allow you guys to call in if you want to.
I was attacked by multiple far-left agitators in June of last year outside an ICE facility in Tukwila. There was an anti-ICE riot there where they were attempting, I guess, to block the flow of cars in and out of the facility to stop some of these immigration hearings. I arrived on scene within 30 seconds. They identified me, called me out, started calling me a Nazi, threw things at me. Several of them assaulted me. I got somebody attempted to blind me with wasp killer, so I had to have my eyes drained on scene there. Just an insane situation. So at the time, I filed a police report with the Tukwila Police Department. And on this show just last week, I went on this long rant about the fact that no one had been charged in that case. And it really frustrated me because it's the reason why we see so much political violence from the far left in places like Seattle and Minneapolis and California. It's because for so many years they've been allowed and they've gotten away with acts of violence and vandalism. And specifically, they target on a regular basis individuals who they deem as not friendly journalists or too conservative. And even though I consider myself now a conservative political commentator, I was also assaulted and attacked by Antifa factions when I was on mainstream news. And so I said on the show last week, until they start being charged and prosecuted, nothing is going to change. Well, then I'm sitting at home. I think it was, Monday when I got this news, maybe Tuesday. And I open the mail and I get this subpoena from the Municipal Court of Tukwila, just one page that says that a woman named Fabiana Cantera Silvestre has been charged by the city of Tukwila. First I heard about it. Apparently, and this is the woman that they've charged. So when you touch me with that woman there, don't touch me with that sign, it's assault, okay? So you're okay to be in my face, but don't touch me with that sign. Who hit me multiple times, followed me, wouldn't let me leave the area. They identified her as 30-year-old Fabiana Cantera Silvestre of Seattle, and they charged her back in December. And I'm finding out about it, and this is my only complaint. I'm glad they charged her. Here's the information from the Tukwila prosecutor's office. 2 misdemeanors, count 1, assault in the 4th degree, where she can serve up to a year in jail, and assault 2, disorderly conduct. Apparently, that doesn't have to do with me. That has to do with the fact that they say that she was part of this group of protesters. They must have determined this by looking at other footage of the day. According to the police report, it says the Tukwila Civil Disturbance Unit had to move the protesters from the driveway to allow the employees of the building to escape. The protesters threw water bottles at fully uniformed officers and resisted moving off the sidewalk and driveway. And so she's being charged not only for her attack on me, but also for her disorderly conduct outside the ICE facility that day. Now, I'm happy to hear that, obviously. I will admit I'm a little frustrated because this is the second time I've had a case involving violence or threats of violence against me where I don't find out. They don't tell you they charge someone. And I think that's odd. And maybe that's just how our criminal justice system is now. But if you have the victim of a crime, don't you think that's your first call or notification if you're going to charge the individual who assaulted them? So I'm slightly frustrated about that. And I knew that at the end of December, I had gone down to Tukwila and I did a photo lineup and they gave me 6 photos and I very easily identified, despite the fact that her face was covered with a mask, I very easily identified the suspect. Obviously, I was able to positively ID her and they moved forward with the charges. I just wish I had known before I got my notice that I might have to appear in court because she wants to take this thing to trial. Unfortunately, they still haven't identified the 2 other individuals, including this guy here. who was about the bottom of the barrel from humanity. If you've ever seen the video of how he speaks to me, the words that he uses, he also hit me from behind with a sign. Very brave, covered his face with a mask. Police have yet to identify him. And then, unfortunately, because I think this is of the trio, the individual I want the most, they have not identified the person who tried to blind me with wasp killer.
Holy
Yeah, and I mean, I hate going back and watching and editing video of any time I've been attacked in the field, because it is a traumatic thing. I mean, I've been through it so many times, but you never go there seeking it. I mean, you never go there to instigate it. As I said, this attack on me happened within 30 seconds of arriving. I hadn't spoken to anyone. I was off to the side getting some video, and I try at every juncture to walk away and to move down the street while still trying to capture images of the suspects who were doing this. And there is absolutely a frustration that somebody who tried to blind me can't be identified. And that's one of the reasons why these factions hide their identities, is that has worked for them in the past. Now, I would like the feds to take that case. I'm happy the city of Tukwila is sticking with this case. I don't know why this young woman wants to take it to trial, considering she's on camera, and you hear me even warn her, when you hit me with that, that's assault, and she continues to do it repeatedly. There's witnesses there. So I don't know what kind of defense she plans to mount against that. I would just take the L and plead guilty and try to move on with your life. But in the case of the individual who tried to blind me with wasp killer, I think that's a case the feds can and should take. We've pointed out the fact that after January 6th, the FBI under Biden used every available tool. We're able to determine what cell phones were in an area and went down for years across the country and knocked on doors to try to see if people were part of the mob on January 6th. And I'm not saying necessarily I agreed with those tactics, but they have the ability for any of these riots, for any of these acts of political violence, to go out and to figure out who was there and to try to match people to individuals in the mob. And I would really encourage the federal government to do that in a case like this, because if it's not me, they had a whole case of this wasp killer. One of the things that we noticed as we were trying to investigate this on our own is one of the individuals holding a sign, there was a barcode on the back, and some very astute viewers looked up the SKU number that was on the barcode, and it came back to this wasp killer. So that tells me they had a whole box of this stuff. Why? Well, it's because it sprays a long distance and it can do a lot of damage to people if it hits them in the eye, because the wasp killer is what you spray up in the eaves, right? It's not like bug repellent, it's wasp killer. And so if they weren't using it on me, who do you think they were going to use it on? The feds. They were going to use it on the Tukwila police officers that were there. They probably did. And so this is a weapon for them. And so it's not just about protecting, independent journalists, although I think it's important to protect any journalists from violence out in the field, but it's also about, they're also doing this to cops. They're also doing this to federal agents. And we just had the story last week of our friend Savannah Hernandez, a reporter with Turning Point USA, brutally attacked outside an ICE facility in Minneapolis. We know two of the individuals who attacked her are going to be charged. Hennepin County has declined to charge the mother. So it was parents and a daughter. They've charged the father and the daughter, but don't think there's ample evidence to charge the mother, even though she was forcefully shoving a dildo towards Savannah Hernandez's face, which I believe should be against the law, and seemed to make contact with her. And after that happened, and Savannah said, and I agree with her, that we've been through this enough to know that some of these blue jurisdictions don't take assaults seriously if they happen against conservatives. Because again, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know, if you had mobs of right-wingers going around the country and attacking like regular reporters who were out doing their job, you don't think those local jurisdictions would immediately do something about it, because the media would pressure them to. The media would be like, oh, brutal right-wing attack, political attack on members of the press just trying to do their jobs. But when it happens to someone like me or someone like Savannah Hernandez, the media doesn't care. They love it. They love it. They want us attacked. And I really believe that with every fiber of my being. And so Vice President J.D. Vance, after that attack, he was at a Turning Point USA event, and he said that he agrees that the feds need to start taking these cases because the local jurisdictions don't care.
I talked to Kash Patel on the way down here, and I said, I assume that we're doing something here. And he said, yes, we've had multiple agents on the ground. We've already talked to Savannah. We're going to use the video to try to go after the people who assaulted her and then try to defund the networks that fund those radicals who are going around assaulting activists. That's what we should be doing.
Yeah, I agree. That's what they should be doing. We literally went, and I went with Savannah to the White House to urge them to do stuff like that. I don't know that we've seen a lot of meaningful progress in that area from the federal government. They have the tools to be able to do this stuff and to do it quickly. And so I need to see more from them. Words aren't enough. We need action from them. But again, I appreciate the Tukwila Police Department and the Tukwila City prosecutor for pursuing this case as long as they have, for taking it seriously. Maybe they can use this woman to try to identify the other two suspects in the case, because the one who tried to blind me with wasp killer, that's a felony assault. And so certainly that's someone who's very dangerous and who I'd like identified and I think should spend some time in jail. So apparently they're going to take that to trial. I'll keep you guys updated on how that goes. But I would like the feds to intervene, and I'm going to send some messages in that regard to some individuals who we've met, as part of our trip to the White House to see if they can't make that happen.
Thank you, Brandy. Such a lovely girl. She is actually, she's pretty amazing, actually. We already know that there is people out there who don't love this country. We also need to be aware that there's many kind of different mentalities out there. There is mentally ill. There's a lot of schizophrenia. I can't even say the word. Whatever that thing that word is. I can never say that word. But anyways, you got mental illness, of different sorts out there. You have the people the illegal immigrants that hate this country, who also have a mental illness. You have children that have now grown up. It's schizophrenia, I think is what it's. Yeah. But then you have children that are now of voting age, who have been raised in this cult of hate America. They fight like they're this courageous warrior people here, but they bent the knee to tyrants. They go out on the street and protest no kings against President Trump. In the meantime, their governor is raising taxes of the yin yang. And as you saw the CEO from a New York business store over there, he told you one of the reasons why the prices go very high on food, etc., is because of all the regulation, all the taxes on top of taxes on top of taxes that they have to pay. And who has to pay that? It has to be the consumers. I love the I love the common sense of the leftists. They say tariffs doesn't affect. Well, I say it doesn't really affect us, to be honest. It affects some people, some industries, but it is what it is. And they have the common sense to say, well, tariffs is a tax. When you put a tariff on imports, the consumer pays for it. And I'm like, okay, let's go with that. Okay? But tariffs is a negotiating tool. And it's going to get hard for some people, but we know it needs to happen because we want fair trade. And it worked. Tariffs are not a big deal today. It's not. Okay? But then those same people don't say anything about taxes being put on businesses, about millionaire taxes. That is crazy. Yeah, the billionaires, a lot of them who are truly billionaires, they don't care. They'll pay it. It's no big deal. But the millionaires who actually have to work their asses off to stay a millionaire, they're not going to put up with it. And they're going to take their hundreds of thousands of jobs with them. You know what's crazy? Somebody came into my channel here and tried to argue with me about, President Trump is, he's lost so many jobs. And he doesn't create any jobs. Shut the hell up. If you're going to tell me that, what I want to hear is, okay, listen. So, Dennis, I have compared. I noticed here in Washington State, thanks to the governor and the incompetence of the government here in Washington State, we have lost hundreds of small businesses. We are totaling for 2025 and the first couple of months of 2026, we lost 100,000 jobs here in Washington State. Boom. Okay, got you. Why? Why did we lose those jobs? And don't say Trump, because that's the only answer they have. Trump's fault. Trump's fault. Well, tell me how. Because the last time I checked, all of these businesses are complaining about the same things. Guess what that is? Taxes. That's right. The favorite tool that socialist Democrats like to use to take money away from you. It's like people don't learn from history. We went to war against the Brits for 2% tax. Well, there's more than that. They were burning barrels and doing all this other shit in there. But still, 2% tax. We went to war. We went to war. Lots of people lost their lives. We went to war for taxes. 2%. And what do we do today? Turn a blind eye. That's what we do today. We turn a blind eye. If you haven't seen my short, because my shorts suck, I made a short today that the socialist Democrats, those states that have sanctuary cities, they want illegal immigrants to be in this country. And I said that they should only count citizens and residents on a census. This is why. States with higher census counts gain increased political representation through more seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. I think I said the Congress and the House. And more electoral college votes for presidential elections. Additionally, college votes for presidential elections. Additionally, higher population counts secure a larger share of federal funding for, listen to this. Oh, listen to this, man. The truth shall set you free. And the leftist says, what is the truth, Dennis? And I said, you can't handle the truth. But we're going to give it to you anyway. Here is the biggest key. Higher population counts. The Zalgo is a lot of emojis. I know, I haven't checked. I gotta look into it because I do want Streamlabs to mediate a little bit on the chat, but it thinks that spamming emojis is a bad thing. All right, so here we go. Higher population counts secure a large share of federal funding. Here we go. Before I even tell you this, if you're like me and you're doing your research as I'm talking, you already know the answer. But let me tell you something. Here we go. Listen to this. They are raising a 10% tax on people that make over $1 million. If you are at $1 million and $1, you're getting 10% tax on that. Imagine that. So you really don't have an incentive to make $1 million. Your incentive is to make $996,000. Otherwise, you will have to pay an extra $100,000. I want you to understand something that these libtards don't understand. Rich people, yes, they have these big mansions and they have these yachts and they have all this luxury. Do you want that? I don't. You know why? Guess how many taxes they have to pay on their property. Guess how many taxes they have to pay when they buy a big-ass boat. Guess how much money they have to spend to maintain that lifestyle. And how many taxes are they paying to maintain that lifestyle? This is what I never understood, why the poor mentality people don't get how this works. Capitalism is fantastic. It is fantastic. If you sacrifice yourself more and more and you invest and you get smarts in here, you can make a lot of money. Why do you need a lot of money? Because if you, listen, I'm going to tell you, this is just me. I hope I don't lose my train of thought. I know what I got to tell you. I need a roof over my head, protection from the elements. I want to have enough space to be able to do what I need to do. I want to be able to have food on the table for my children. I don't need a $10,000 suit. I go get a $99 suit. I go get a $60 suit. I don't need to go spend $10,000 on a suit. I don't need to go spend $100,000 on a ring. I don't need to. Just go get a $20 ring. But be happy with your family. So my aspirations, I'm not too ambitious, I guess, about money. But that's just me. I would rather be somewhere in a place where I can go fishing, gather my own food, maybe some hunting. Let me tell you, and I know I'm going a little bit on this and that. There is a channel on YouTube. It's called Hawaiian Hamas. No, Hamas. Hawaiian Hamas, I think is his name. This guy, he does spearfishing. Now, I don't know what other work he does, but his channel is he does spearfishing, and he goes and spend time with the natives. You have to be at least 50% Hawaiian to be able to be in this area, okay? And I'm going to tell you, he sometimes goes to a friend who has a house over there in Hawaii, and he's got a couple of MTVs, you know? I'm sorry, not MTVs, ATVs. And, they hunt boar, wild boar. And the guy, that's what he does, so he hunts boar, and then he has this like smokehouse, and he makes sausages, and I don't know if he sells them or what, but they're supposed to be really good. And so he is free to go into the land, hunt, and gather. And then they go fishing. They spend the night at the beach, and they go fishing, and the winds are blowing, and the rain is getting them all wet. And you know what? They get these big fish. Sometimes they get little fish. But the point is that these people make enough money to get what they need, and then they live off, technically, the land. They gather, they hunt, and they fish. It's fantastic. So, again, you don't need to have a mansion. But here we go. But we live in the capital world, and you want to live in the States, and you want to be in a place where you can have a nice house. Okay, how big of a house do you want? Well, I mean, I make $50,000 a year. Well, shit, you ain't getting a house. I think you should settle for an apartment. A small apartment to that. And even that is going to be hard to maintain. So the reason I tell you this is because the people that are rich make all this money, but they have to keep making that money to maintain that lifestyle. That means that either way, everybody benefits. We don't get the mansions, I get it, but they're paying taxes more than we ever pay. They probably pay more taxes than what you and I will ever pay in our whole lifetime. Let's get real. 80% of the taxes collected come from the rich. 80%. And the poor people still say, let the rich pay their fair share. What the hell is the fair share? You wanted to be broke like you? No, that's stupid. When you see mansions, when you see big properties, your mentality should be like, damn, one day I'm going to have something like that. So what do you got to do? Well, you start thinking of a plan. I got to work my ass off. I got to do this. I got to do that. You see what I'm saying? Dude, this is not a good look. What are you talking about? What is not a good look? That you're lazy and you can't be successful in your own life? Do you know why there's a lot of entrepreneurs going out there? Do you know what it takes to be an entrepreneur? You got to be a risk taker. You got to be able to appreciate what others have so that you can have that ambition, that vision, and say, hey, listen, that's a nice yacht. I like fishing. I want a yacht. What do I got to do? Well, it costs $500,000. Golly. What can I do to get $500,000? Well, you got to do this. Okay, well, let's do it. It gives you an incentive. No, that's not the, no. I don't know where you're at. You lost me there. Okay, I don't know where you're at with the poop guy. You really have a good name. Everything that you think that you need from the rich people, you don't. Go get your own money. Stop being lazy. Stop being lazy. Now, with that being said, the government, not only the corrupted, incompetent government will do this to you, they will convince you that they have to tax you so that they can get things done. And when you retaliate, they tell you that they just need to tax the rich more so that you can continue to live on. But wait, it gets better. So they raised a $11.5 billion in taxes that was supposed to be used within 4 years. The budget is gone. They added another $2.5 billion in taxes with the millionaire tax. That shit is gone. Let me just tell you right now. We're not going to see it. And they always say, we need the money for infrastructure, for schooling, for the education, and for this and that. This is why you're paying high taxes, Washington State. This is why you're paying high taxes. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. All the taxes that they add on gets added to a sales tax, and we got to pay that. Now, there's no state income tax. We only pay federal taxes, but there's no income state taxes. But they keep raising our sales tax. They screw the business owners by adding all these taxes on top of taxes on top of taxes. And then who ends up paying a higher price for it? You know it. We do. The consumers. So how is that helping our affordability? Now, here we go. Let me go ahead and finish reading what this does. When you have a lot of illegal immigrants, let's just say when you have a big population, you have a secure larger share of federal funding for infrastructure, education, healthcare or Medicaid, and social services. So let me ask you, maybe I'm just misunderstanding and you can probably correct me and help me out. So let me ask you, when they tell you that they got to raise taxes in a form of a sales tax, and business tax, and wealth tax, death tax, inheritance tax, property tax, luxury tax. I'm sick of saying taxes. I got tired of saying taxes just on those few things. When they tell you that those taxes are for this, then what the hell is the money from the federal government doing? It's supposed to be for all of this. But the socialist Democrats like to lie to you and tell you that we need these taxes, but we don't. What we need is a competent government that knows how to run their budget, that is not going to go waste $600 million to shave legs. I kid you not. How is $600 million to shave laser hair removal in prisons for trans? How is that helping us? How is that helping us? Do you see my problem? That is where you're supposed to have a problem with the government. You You got to be able to see those things. And that's where I'm at. When people say unaffordability, why do you think President Trump says that was BS? It's a hoax. Because he didn't create it. The socialist Democrats created it and are making it worse and worse and worse. And as I said before, we don't fight for ourselves today. We fight for our children's future. And no, we don't take advice from children. We teach them what they need to be done. So when people come into my channel and they start talking about all this unaffordability, it's Trump's fault, they're against our military, they're against our rights, our legal rights, they don't want to protect the Constitution, they say democracy is in danger, it's being attacked, it's being destroyed, they don't do anything to help. I was going to take some calls today, but I'm out of time. Guys, if you have been here with me, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for considering becoming members. It's not mandatory. Thank you for the super chats. Hey, this is what I do for a living. I entertain. I give you politics. I give you religion. I give you stories. I'll give you some information and share what I can see on my computer with you so that you don't have to go digging for it anywhere else. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight, guys. You have been watching the Dennis Herrera Show with Dennis Herrera, yours truly. Thank you, all my members. God bless you. I will see you on the next one. God bless your family. God bless the USA. Peace.